another movie review. This time I'm going to talk about an old Norwegian movie, an old horror movie actually, which is one of my favorite movies, not just Norwegian movies, but basically all time. It's also a favorite book of mine, and it's a favorite teleplay because it's been dramatized for radio just a few years ago. And I love the story. I'm reviewing it in English because it is available with English subtitles. The edition that I have here in the DVD series Norske Klassikere, Norwegian Classics, which has a huge, long range of movies from, well, this is from 1958, and there are movies earlier than that too, just up until the present time, and they have English subtitles. And this is almost my all-time favorite Norwegian movie, dødes tjern, Lake of the Dead, or actually Tarn of the Dead. Tjern, it doesn't really translate as lake. It's better to use the Scottish word tarn, but of course not a lot of people are familiar with that word, so it's usually called Lake of the Dead in Norwegian. Check out this fantastic cover. It's the old poster. I love this cover art. It's gorgeous. It's based on a novel, slightly adapted from the novel. Taken out some things that should have been kept in. If it had been made today, those things would probably have been kept in, because this is only 1 hour 15 minutes long. A movie made today would have been significantly longer, but like I said, this is from 1958. It's black and white, and back then it wasn't really expected that movies would be, 2 hours long, whatever. The plot is that our hero, Bernard Borge, who's a writer of thrillers and crime fiction, he needs a new idea. He's run out of ideas, and of course he needs to write, needs to publish books to earn money to support himself and his wife and children in the style to which they have become accustomed. They've just bought a new apartment, so he needs something to write about. And then he has a party, a housewarming party at their new apartment, and his friends come along, and one of them tells him a story about the one in the gang who is not present, who is the twin brother of one of the girls in the gang. There are two women, Bernard's wife and another girl, and her brother, her twin brother, he has bought a house up in the East Valley, which is in the interior of Norway, that is haunted, supposedly, by this guy who did something really, really awful and then took his own life. Pardon, I have a cold, kind of sniffly. And the people in the group, there's an interesting dynamic. One of them really believes in the supernatural. He's kind of an occultist, and he really believes that this haunting could be real. And there are other people in the group who are realists, and who claim that everything must have a natural explanation. It can't be, this can't be true, that this guy haunts the house and, the area, and the lake nearby the house. Then suddenly, very soon after this party, they get word that the brother who bought this haunted house is now missing. He was up there, that's why he wasn't at the party. He was in the East Valley at his new cabin, the haunted cabin, and now he's disappeared, and the local police believe that he has killed himself. And supposedly, when you stay there, you become suicidal because of this haunting that kind of inspires you to want to commit suicide. And they don't believe in it, most of them, but they go up there to try to find him. The sister, of course, is extremely anxious, just she has to go there. When they get there, there is a lot of things that don't add up. There's a lot of weirdness. They start thinking that they see the haunting, the spirit. And certainly they hear weird things, and the lake is very strange. This tarn, where people have drowned, it is very peculiar. There's something about it. And they have to get to the bottom of it, hopefully before someone else dies. But can they manage that? Because definitely something's going on. Someone is around, but is it a person, or is it a supernatural entity? What really did happen to the brother? I can't really share that many details of the plot, because once you explain some of it, you start explaining all of it. But basically, it is a really scary story. It's The setting is creepy. The characters, how, like I said, it's an interesting interplay, an interesting mix of characters. The plot is just brilliant. It's kind of funny, and it is really genuinely scary. The story is scary. So this is actually a horror movie, black and white Norwegian horror movie from 1958, that I really recommend if you want to see vintage, quality, genuinely scary without special effects. This is a psychological thriller. You hardly see anything at all. And a movie that really makes you think, really makes you work to start developing what the solution could be, because obviously there is a solution. But do you believe in the supernatural? Or do you think that there must be some kind of natural explanation? I'm not going to tell you which one it is in this story, but it's well written, well acted. If you like the movie, you should also read the book. Don't know if that's been translated either, but of course, if you're Norwegian, definitely read the book, because the book fleshes out the story much more. And yeah, the book is better. It is. But the movie is certainly worth watching. Part of Norwegian movie history, was a huge hit when it came out, and interesting, basically, for any movie buff who wants to see a quality, vintage 1950s horror, and how they could scare people back then without showing severed limbs and blood and gore in profusion. So yeah, one of my favorite movies, Lake of the Dead, by, what's his name? I can't even remember. Kåre Bergström. Kåre Bergström is the director. Starring various famous faces in Norway, especially Henki Kolstad as Bernhard Borge. Of course, just a brilliant job, as always. Fantastic movie. Scary. Watch it in the dark. Yeah, I love it. Lake of the Dead.